What's up, this guy TLP23 back with another video. Shoot the like, shoot the sub, do whatever you feel. So this is my last take on CM Punk, and I'm gonna just let this shit die.
I was like, when you look at the roster, how many active members of the roster have been in a WrestleMania main event? How do you expect anybody to get fucking better? AHL hockey players have to play with NHL hockey players in order to get better. I needed the experience of a main event at WrestleMania with somebody who is equal or better than me so I could learn, so I could further become an asset to the fucking product. So I could draw more.
Okay, so he's right about one thing, and then he's wrong about the rest of it. Okay, you do need experience with equal or better talent to you, so you could become a better draw, and so you can gain more experience. But at the same time, this is not real. This is scripted. This is staged, and regardless of that, it doesn't even really matter. So excuse me for bringing that up, but it was a bad comparison because you're trying to use a real sport and compare it to something that's already planned out. Um, you could get that experience, and it didn't have to be in the WrestleMania main event. Is basically what I'm getting at. It just didn't have to be. You could have done that at another pay per view. You could do that at any pay per view, however many you want to. But just because they say no at WrestleMania, oh, it's a problem.
That of always being told, well, you're not a draw. How do you know? Why don't you give me a fucking shot? And anytime they did give me a shot, I knocked it out of the fucking park, ran, caught the ball myself.
Okay, so they gave you a shot then. It just wasn't how you thought it was going to be. But you just admitted that they gave you chances, they gave you opportunities. And you say you felt like you knocked it out of the park. But so basically what you're saying is, how many more times do you got to do this before you feel like you get what you deserve? Well, see, this is when we talk about the real world, CM Punk. Just because you always do something and you might be excelling at it and you might be good at it and you're talented and you might be the best person there, it doesn't matter. It's all about the person pulling the strings. Those are the people that really matter. What they want and what they say goes. And that's it.
Fucking shoved it down their fucking throats to remind them, yes, I am all that, and then some, and more. All that shit about the video game, which was dumb of them to advertise me for the video game. Like 2K Sports tweeted at me, do I have your attention now? Well, 2K Sports, do I have your fucking attention now? Thanks for the big fat check. And you're,
Right. So that really wasn't even no win over WWE. And the only reason I'm saying that is because you had to hear what he said before, which I'll probably go back in a second. He comes off as if it was a win over WWE, but the way that companies work, if it was solely on Vince or if it was solely on the wrestling company, they would have had to come out of pocket and pay him that check, not 2K. So that leads me to believe that it was all 2K's fault and they handled the situation wrong. And I mean, he got paid for it, which was supposed to happen. But that ain't no win over nobody but 2K. So okay, let me go back. I want to speak on something else real quick.
How about we talk the day I get home, I'll fucking call you. In the meantime, reissue me that royalty check that I've been asking about for the past 2 months. Send me my royalties that I've been asking about for 2 months. That is reasonable, and then I will talk to you when I get back from my honeymoon. He did not respond to the text. The day of my wedding, I got a FedEx in the mail, and it was my termination papers. I was fired. You were fired. I was fired.
Okay, so I don't think it was premeditated, as he says, because look, prior to this, he said that, listen to what he just said. He was asking for royalty checks for 2 months. You have to keep in mind that those 2 months, this guy was sitting at home or doing whatever he was doing, living his life with his girl or whatever. So basically, you just walked away. You had expectations and responsibilities that need to be taken care of when you're one of the top talents in a company, or regardless. If anybody just walks away from their job or walks away from someone or any type of situation like that, the other side has no choice but to believe, okay, well, this person is done. It's not up to that. It's not up to the other side to say, well, maybe this, maybe that. That's not up to them. It's up to you to keep the lines of communication open. It's up to you to make sure that you take care of what you're supposed to. So everything is on 100.
So take that, everyone who says I need to be, I'm a quieter on Twitter. I had everybody from old Kevin Dunn to Vince being like, oh, that was the best match. It should have went on last, And I was just like, yeah, I know. So like that's that's the feather in my cap. You know.
Yeah, it was the best match at WrestleMania 29, but you have to understand something, CM Punk. They're looking at this from a numbers game. Was CM Punk versus Taker on the poster and the promos and everything, would it have drawn as much as Rock versus Cena Part 2? Nobody will ever know. But that's what you need to understand. This is all about money. It's all about numbers. Whether it's right or wrong, I can understand them being wrong, and at least they admitted it. But they're looking at this from, we're trying to fill seats, we're trying to fill, pay-per-view buys, things of that sort, and and it's all hindsight, to be quite honest with you, because nobody knew that Rock versus Cena Part 2 was going to be trash. Like, of course, people wasn't as interested in it as the first time because the story was poorly handled. The second time around, the story was poorly handled. The in-ring work was poorly handled. And it wasn't really anything it wasn't anything really to get behind unless you were just fans of The Rock and you were fans of Cena. That's all it came down to. And we've seen this multiple times. We've seen people that were faces, the hugest faces in the company. They had the biggest fan base and things of that sort. They fight each other consecutive times, whether it be at WrestleMania or at different pay-per-views. We've seen this happen and it was a success. So that's why I say you have to keep in mind that, well, in my honest opinion, I don't think it was just because it was the same two people. It was just because everything was poorly executed all the way down to the match. And you did put on your match probably should have been last, but that's just not how it went because that's not how a businessman thinks. So it is what it is.
How you feel?
I feel awesome.
Yeah.
A little hungry.
I mean, after this,
that's good. It's good. I mean, like I said, there's still people that are going to be like, "Oh, you're a quitter. You took your ball and went home," because that's what they heard on Monday Night Raw. So they're going to be a sheep. And
nope, nobody's being a sheep. We just know how to form our own opinions. You can form your own opinion and, keep your stance on certain issues and things of that. But when other people do it, it's a problem. Oh, we're just sheep now. No, I'm listening to exactly what you're saying and everything that led up to the situation happening for a whole year, as you said. So, no, I'm not a sheep. I just feel like, you did quit. The termination papers were not even necessary, to be honest with you. I just felt like they were being petty because leading up to all of this, you were petty. You had a problem with everything. And you had an issue with everything, and you were just petty and childish. So they figured they'll do it back to you. But now you want to cry wolf. Nah, get out of here with that bullshit.
just regurgitate that, but like that's cool. Like I didn't quit. I got fired.
Yeah.
I'll be back at it.